Good evening, everyone. Hope we had a lovely weekend. I certainly did. Saints won. Sorry, I know I've done the review a day late. Was just busy going to the Carlton Hawthorn game last night as an MCC member. For those who don't know, I'm an MCC Level 2, which is restricted member. So I have access to pretty much all the games except Grand Final and King's Birthday, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, in that horrible weather, I had a chance to go. And I sat undercover though, and it was a very good win by Hawthorn. Anyway, nonetheless, welcome. Before I start, I'd like to introduce you to our tutoring school. So if you see the logo up there, it's called the Roki School of Excellence. It's a tutoring school founded by my wife and I. And basically, it's an academic tutoring school that offers classes individually and group-wise for years 5 to 12 maths across all levels except specialist maths, and in South Indian classical drums, octopad, which is an electronic percussion instrument. Okay, so if you know of any, or if you have a child, if you know of any relatives or loved ones or friends who might be interested, please do ask them to contact us, because my enrollments are open throughout the year. My wife and I takes care of the enrollment and admin side of things, and I'll look after the teaching slips and fee side of things. Okay, so jump on board if you're interested. Okay, I'll be happy to help. Okay, well, what a game it was yesterday, no doubt. To lead by halftime and to sort of almost squander the lead and then to take it back and regain control, I thought was very pleasing and a very mature performance by the boys. Probably this on any other day would have been a loss, being pipped by Port Adelaide. And look, make no mistake, Port Adelaide are a pretty good side, despite what their ladder position suggests. They're very good at controlling midfield territory and stopping. So if we're not switched on, they can get it on an ascendancy. And if you don't regain control whilst they get on a roll or momentum, you're gone. Okay, but to our boys' credit, we regained control, we took some momentum, and we responded like a mature group. So that was the pleasing aspect. Okay, every time, I think as Saints TV said, what I liked is despite Port Adelaide throwing a lot of stones at us in the third quarter, we didn't panic, we regained composure and took the lead back. Okay, so if we just have a look at the final scores. Okay, final scores, as you can see here, St Kilda 13 goals 9-87, defeating Port Adelaide 10-13-73. So if you can see here the score breakdown, it was all a St Kilda affair. That second quarter was probably the best second quarter I've seen all year. When bang, 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 when guns blazing, and Brad Hill, take a bow, mate. You rewound the clock. You continue to rewind the clock back and put on a good show. Mateus Filippo's ripping goal outside 50 brought the house down. Are we surprised by the way he kicked it? No. Should we be surprised? Absolutely not, because he's one of those few midfielders in the competition who's got one of the best left foot penetrating kicks, something like the Bond. So when he takes a shot outside 50, it's no surprise. And when he makes it, it's no surprise either. But, geez, that was an absolute team lifter that just separated the sides big time. This we need to work on very much, okay? We really lost some ascendancy, and credit to Port Adelaide. They started lifting, their Zach Butters, their Horn Francis, their Jace Burgoynes, Jordan Sweet. They started going next level, and I felt we sort of went off our game, went off our method a little bit. If you look at Carlton's interim coach, Josh Fraser, it's not about the effort. Sometimes you can deviate, you get found out for deviating away from your method. And that's what I felt the boys did last night. We went a little bit defensive, shallow, but we did get 2 goals in the end of that third quarter, thanks to Higo and who else? Rowan Marshall. So that really sort of put a slight bridge. Then Port Adelaide started the last quarter well, thanks to a soccer through goal, but then it just needed Mitch Owens and Mason Wood to really ice the game. Okay, and well done. It was an important win, and it really keeps our season alive, especially for a wild card spot or a top 8. Had to win it. Doesn't matter by how much. And as you all know, if you see the ladder right now, we're in the wild card position. Okay. Yes, everyone will say we're in the wild card position just for now, but we are on the wild card nonetheless. Okay, it was a crucial win. It will give us a lot of confidence heading into a team that's having their backs to the wall a bit in Geelong. As you see, we see us 10. For those who don't know, Geelong lost a game that they should have won, having led by 30 points, as good as 30 points, and to choke in that last quarter. Yes, they had injuries. They had Cameron off, they had Guthrie, they had a few off that really hurt them. But is that an excuse for a good side? Absolutely not. And guess what? GWS really went on the front foot and showed them, hey, you guys are nothing without Jeremy Cameron and all that. So GWS really showed them you're a nothing side. And that is true. Jeremy Cameron is the backbone of that forward line, and when he's not firing, they're gone. I know Shannon Neal is there, but Shannon Neal doesn't kick a bag like Cameron every week. Sean Banner, here and there he'll prop up. But if you look at one who takes the mark, sharpshooter, kicks a bag, you're talking about Jeremy Cameron. Okay, so he's not there, and that's what makes Thursday night's battle very interesting. Yes, it's at GMHBA Stadium, the home of Geelong Football Club. But does that rule out any chance of the Saints winning? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's every chance to try and win this game, because if you look at it, sorry, I was just seeing my charge. If you look at it, they're a bit depleted. They rely on their older balls to get the job done, not like St Kilda. Got a lot of youth coming, and whose midfield is really connecting beautifully. Your Maxwells, your Windhagars, your Garcias, your Philippos, your Nasai Wangan, Maleras, the list goes on. So if we can bring that effort that we did yesterday and really switch on to that third quarter, I think we're every chance to upset the Cats and get our 9th win of the year. This is not an impossible game to win. Geelong haven't been playing the same as they have the last few years. They've not yet fired up. Look, you look at GWS. Have they gone well this year? Probably not. They've surprised a few teams, but they've also had a bit of a shocker in some games. But guess what? They knocked off Freo. They knocked off the Cats. They showed what it's like to knock off the Cats. Yes, it was at GWS's home ground yesterday. But guess what? The Cats were the favourites to win the game yesterday, for goodness sake. And they couldn't even get it done. Okay? So anyway, nonetheless, I will like to share with you my key review points. So I'll just open that up. So as you see here, number 1, our midfield connection chemistry is becoming stronger. Booyah. It's really, really working nicely. If you look at the last few years and what Brad Johnson said on AFL 360, he said, last few years, St Kilda looked unwatchable because we didn't score that high. We were focused on being a strong defensive team, and we were, and we still are. But guess what? We're becoming more watchable now. We're scoring a bit higher, and our midfield, and that part of that is due to our midfield connecting very nicely. You see our Naz, Wanganeen, Malera, Filippo, Hall, Garcia, Windhager, they are having good chemistry in that midfield. They have a very good understanding. The way they get the ball and run through and share the ball usage and disposals is amazing. They are maturing as a midfield. Though they're young, they're showing that they're a mature midfield. And of course, there is still some areas to work on. Absolutely, that's always a work in progress. But they are showing to the rest of the competition, hey, we are connecting nicely, very nicely, and if we continue to do so, we're going to win more games than we lose, and we will shock more teams than you think we will. So, yep, I'm with them on that. I'm on board with that. Okay. Number 2, halftime lead was a chance to obtain a more percentage boost. Yep, to be as much as 36 points up and to almost squander it, but then to win it back by 14, you'll take the win, but you sort of think, hang on a second, what stopped us from continuing the good work in that second quarter? And look, that's not to take away anything from Port Adelaide. They went up a notch in the third quarter. Their key players stood up. The Horn Francis, Zach Butters, till he went off injured. But you sort of think, geez, did we have to be a shadow of ourselves from the second quarter? Absolutely not. So we've got to fix that up. There's a lot of work to do in that. There's no doubt about that. I'm sure Ross admitted that in this press conference. Number 3, Coop, there it is. Coop, there it is, as they say for Cooper Sharman. He was set to kick a bag for the game. I've never heard of him kick 3 goals in a quarter, in the first quarter. Probably that's the first time he's done it in his career. He was on track to kick 7 or 8 yesterday. If there was, generally when Cooper Sharman kicks, he generally kicks up to 4 goals. But if there was ever a time he was to exceed that, I thought, geez, he's on to do this yesterday. 3 goals in the first 10 minutes he kicked. And I'm like, geez, this guy's on for a massive afternoon. Well, he went silent after that, but that's okay. It didn't cost the result. But you sort of think, hang on, he was a great chance. Number 4, yeah, our third quarters have become a trend of sort of capitulating and going in our shell. We really have to tighten the screws there, guys. Probably on any other day we would have lost that game, and if this was against a formidable opponent like the Brisbane Fremantle, we would have been thrashed, even when we were down, up by that much. Okay, so we've got to tighten the screws there. Number 5, it is a very crucial win, like I said before. It's a massive encounter against Geelong, and we should head into that game with all the confidence that we have. We have nothing to lose. Yes, Geelong will be we're playing Geelong on the rebound. They'll be desperate to rebound, but they're a bit shot on confidence. You know, no Cameron, no few players. That's going to hurt them. Yeah, they have Dangerfield, Bailey Smith, probably Sean Manor. But is that the same as having the influence of Cameron in your side? Absolutely not. Cameron is the best forward in the competition, truth to be told. So we have every right to come into this game with confidence, and we got to turn up from the start and silence that home crowd in GMHBA Stadium. We do that, oh boy, we're going to be sending a stronger message to the competition, okay? Because after that, our run is a bit easier. We got North Melbourne, Sydney at Mile, which will be interesting. Then we got Carlton, who were crashed to earth by the Hawks yesterday. Then Richmond, then Gold Coast, who are just struggling. That's at Marvel. So it gets easier, but geez, we want to be catching up on more wins now since we lost close ones early in the year, okay? So I'll leave it there, guys. I'll be doing a preview of the game very shortly against Geelong because the game is a short turnaround. So I'll do that very shortly after this video. Till then, please comment your thoughts, hit the subscribe button to this channel, and feel free to circulate this channel to anyone whom you know might be interested. Okay, the more subscribers, the better. Till then, take care, stay safe, and go Saints. Well done. See you guys. Bye-bye.